Star Wars, give me those Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars. Don't let them end.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 98 of the Secondary Heroes podcast. May the 4th be with you. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, it's Prague.
And this is DeLorean Wolfgang, one of the biggest Star Wars fans you'll ever know.
Excellent.
That's right, so it's May the 4th be with you, fellas. Are you excited about some Star Wars stuff all over the internet?
Oh yeah, I always like talking about Star Wars. That's fun.
Yeah?
It's just weird how this last year went by and we were supposed to be at Star Wars Celebration and we didn't get to go.
Oh, reminder.
Wow.
I was actually looking forward to it because they moved it to Florida when I finally was able to go.
Wait a second, I thought that we were going to do
Anaheim.
the one in Anaheim.
Yeah, that was last year, and then it got canceled.
Oh my god.
And then they pushed it till 2022.
Rip.
Seems so
What
far away.
Downer, Prague, jeez.
I
Sorry.
know, we were supposed to get
Sorry.
excited about Star Wars.
Well, hold on. We had a panel lined up for Star Wars Celebration. So, yeah.
This is gonna be our panel, right?
I guess this will be our panel that we were going to
Sure.
do.
Cool. Anyways, there's a lot happening in the Star Wars universe, so we thought, why not do a May the 4th episode? And for a lot of us, we've lived with it for most of our lives, so it'd be kind of fun to talk about memories and favorites and least favorites and all that.
Yeah, favorite characters? Ooh, I just thought of a really good favorite character. Anyways, we're not there yet.
Let's talk socials.
Socials. We're going to start with socials this quick. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Hey, make sure to follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at The Secondary Heroes. You can also listen to us pretty much. You can get all those channels on crossthestreamsmedia.com. You're going to be able to find where you can leave reviews. You can leave us a voicemail, and we will most likely listen to it. And if it's good enough, we'll play it. Maybe. Love the maybe part. Keep that in parentheses. But yeah, all of it is at Secondary Heroes everywhere.
Awesome. And you can,
is there anything
yeah,
I
you
missed?
can leave a review on iTunes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, always leave a review on iTunes because it helps us out and helps to get new listeners to hear us.
And if you leave a good review, we might even read it on the show. For example, we had a great review that says, "Good until. If you're going to call yourself a Star Wars fan, don't pick and choose from the saga. You either are a fan of all the movies or you aren't. Not interested in fanboy crap, which is what this podcast turned into."
Ah, yes. Now that's a classic.
And now we're going to talk Star Wars with this inspiring review.
So please note, you're only a fanboy if you don't like everything in Star Wars, but if you love everything Star Wars, you're not a fanboy.
You're a true fan at that point.
Understand what that means? I don't get it. I never will. Maybe I never will. It's life's greatest mystery. Is that review?
Yes,
I'll never know.
It's one of the
That-
fun juxtapositions of life.
Now, obviously, we're not going to call this person out, but he did retract that review. But it's still one of those reviews that we like to keep in our back pocket because, my goodness, it's beautiful.
Maybe he was drunk. Who knows? He was confused.
Love the
Spontaneous.
1 stars, people.
It really keeps me going.
Yes.
Force.
This is why we do the podcast.
It's all about our hot takes. If we really want to talk about it.
Well, I mean, it's just fun. I mean, we're talking our opinions, and for some reason, some folks don't really care for our opinions. Obviously,
Our Star Wars
Falcon and
opinions
Winter
are so
Soldier.
good. I know I can't talk to our Marvel opinions because sometimes you love WandaVision, sometimes WandaVision has everything in it and then it's nothing. Sometimes Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you hope that Spider-Man shows up, but he doesn't.
Oh, wow. That would have been cool. Or Mephisto. Anyways, so so what actually got you guys into Star Wars? Because, I mean...
Well, before we get there, the reason I mentioned the Marvel episodes is just because if you're keeping track at home, I said this is episode 98, and you probably haven't heard a number to our episodes in a while because we've been talking Mandalorian and WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Justice League and Wonder Woman, and we even went and did Game of Thrones season 8 a long time ago. Those aren't counted in our numbers. So technically, we have who knows? I lost count. But we are coming up on officially episode 100. So that's in a couple weeks. We're going to make a big deal about it. We're probably going to go live on Twitch, and we're going to invite everybody, and we're going to have giveaways and specials and all kinds of stuff. There might be special guests who join us who haven't been around in a while. Who knows? But so stay tuned.
I wonder who. Nice. Yeah, stay tuned for the details. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I mean, we've probably recorded about almost 200 episodes at this point. It feels like, good Lord. I feel like I'm always behind this microphone. I spend less and less time with my child because I'm talking to you guys.
I'm your child now. Look at me.
Oh,
I'm the child.
I don't know. You and my baby are probably the same height.
Throwback.
That was a good throwback. All right, let's talk about what got us into Star Wars. So, do we start youngest to oldest or oldest to youngest on this one?
Either way, I'm in the middle.
That's true. So, Trevor, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
And so it's Star Wars is fun because it's been kind of a interesting trajectory for me because I probably didn't get into Star Wars super young. It's kind of like where your parents have it on the TV and you see parts of it, especially because, you didn't watch it from start to finish. It would be like randomly airing on like TBS or TNT, and there'd be commercial breaks. And it's like, oh, here's that scene. And you'd watch those scenes. And I think it took a while for me to truly get into it. But then I got super excited because the prequels were coming out. So it was going to come out in 1999. At that point, I'd be 11. So I'd be like in the target demographic to get this whole new audience into Star Wars. So I was really hyped up. All the toys are on the shelves. You're super excited about, I'll go watch the old ones. And you really get into the old ones. You're like, oh, this is so fun. They're doing all the kind of lightsaber force wielding, all that kind of fun stuff. And that's what got into me, is just the new movies existing to kind of force me to watch the old ones kind of start to finish, and then you really get into it. And I'd have to say that particularly Return of the Jedi and the Rancor, the whole start sequence where Luke is actually a Jedi and they're on Jabba's barge, that's what got into me. That's what got me into Star Wars.
Nice.
Wow, dude,
Solid.
That was beautiful.
All right, Alex.
Oh, so yeah, I'm sorry. I totally just spaced on the fact that I was next. Hey, space, let's go out there.
Nice.
So for myself, I couldn't even tell you when the first time I actually watched the movies. I just remember getting really hyped in 6th grade when Star Wars trading cards were becoming big. It's pretty much like what like kids are like collecting magic cards, or because it was like a game or something like that. I never played the game. I just collected the cards. I remember having this giant tub full of Star Wars cards, and I was like, oh, I got a Yoda. Ooh, I got a this or that. And it was like, I don't know, it was just kind of neat. I did have a friend back in the day, Joey. His nickname was Big Joe, and I know that he watched Star Wars and his family was really big into Star Wars, and I'm pretty sure it was through them that I got into Star Wars. I just don't remember the first time actually watching it, but it must have left an imprint on me because, I mean, I remember, like Trevor was saying, the prequels. I mean, it was a really big deal to go see, like, people were dressed up in lines to go see the prequels. But I remember, I mean, obviously, I was more of a purist of the old ones, because I don't know, I really liked the old ones whenever I watched them, but I don't know. Then I think I was started to fizzle whenever it got into the prequels. Because I feel like they got it way too much into like the politics more than the fun sword fighting.
Right. Now tell me a little bit more about the trading cards, because I loved trading cards as a kid, but I don't remember ever buying or seeing the Star Wars ones. I'm sure I did, but like, were they just character cards, or did you actually have stats on the back that you can play with other people?
Full on stats.
Nice.
Do you know Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Yeah, that card game.
The same
it's
system
pretty
kind
much
of thing?
it was. Yeah, it was the same thing.
Huh.
So you would get I would have 100 of these stupid droids, and like the droids were supposed to help you with like collecting other stuff and being able to defeat your opponent by turning your card vertically rather than horizontally. I don't know. I honestly don't remember how to play it, but I remember that like the kids in my school got really into it, and I was like, at the time I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get really into it too. So full on, I was like, when I got the Yoda card, I was like, I'm done. This is the greatest card ever. Nobody's gonna be able to beat me.
I'm gonna have to go on eBay tonight after we get off this podcast and look them up and buy some because I want that now.
Yeah, I wonder if my parents still have that tub of trading cards somewhere in the attic.
They like threw it out. They're like, "What is this stuff?"
Sold it at a garage sale for like 50 cents. Oh yeah, here's a bunch of trading cards.
Oh well.
Going on to eBay while you talk your story.
So for me, it's kind of similar to you guys. I think it is similar for a lot of people with Star Wars that have been kind of big fans of the franchise. Is that you don't always know where you start. For me, I had a brother who had watched them already and had collected the toys when I was a kid. So he is 10 years older than me. And so there was always toys around the house, always the Star Wars toys that were handed down to me. And I'm pretty sure he had it on VHS and we were watching it somehow, maybe on TV. But I always kind of just knew, like, it was never a big reveal that, Vader was Luke's father. Like, I didn't have that moment because I just always knew that. It was just always part of my consciousness. So, for me, I just kind of always had Star Wars in my life as a kid. And then one day I was at my babysitter's house and she had the picture book version of Return of the Jedi. This is the one where they take all the actual photos from like the set and behind the scenes photos and black and white, publicity shots and stuff. Yeah. But on the cover was Luke in his Jedi, black outfit with the green saber on the barge, and I was it. Like I was in love with that shot. Must have been like 6. I was like, that's it. I want to be that. That's who I want to be when I grow up. And like that was it for me. So that's why I kind of fell in love with Star Wars because of the whole, like what you said, Alex, the sword fighting and the Force. That's what I'm into. I don't care about the politics. Don't care at all. Not my thing. I don't care about trade federations and all that stuff. Boring.
Hey, who cares? Boring.
No one cares.
So, I just looked up those cards and they are worthless. So there we go.
Well, awesome. Which means I can go pick them up and look at them.
Oh, dude, they're actually kind of cool. Like, get the box set. You could get a box set for $15 and you get pretty much all of them. Anyways, now I'm just peddling eBay.
What's interesting about Star Wars cards is that kind of got me back into Star Wars. So again, after the prequels came out, I kind of lost interest in Star Wars, and it was kind of like a dark period for the franchise itself. They weren't doing that much, but then Topps released a digital card trading app. So it came out in 2015. Yeah, it came out in 2015. Right before like Force Awakens was coming out, and it's essentially NFTs before NFTs existed. Topps was actually super groundbreaking in 2015, and no one's giving them credit. Like they're taking advantage of NFTs now, and they're one of the first companies on it. But it's really interesting to look back because people actually wanted those digital assets. Like you would get a card, and those cards were worth like $500. It's literally a digital art file on your phone. And people would buy them for $500. And so then it gets people like, I'm going to open packs to try to get this card. And then they had special Force Awakens cards. And I got super excited for Force Awakens. Like, I'm all in on Star Wars. They're rebooting. They're going back to what they did, the roots kind of idea. It looks awesome in the trailers. Like, CGI is finally caught up to being able to do these space battles and lightsaber battles to look relatively authentic. And it's really interesting how digital card trading is more mainstream and now it's acceptable.
That's so funny. Yeah.
They're ahead of the time.
Yeah, it's funny that like it was something that as kids we all kind of had like these silly little cards, and now it's all digital. Everybody's talking about NFTs. I feel like you can't go 10 feet without someone talking about a Topps NFT. So
they were.
And we don't need to get into NFTs. Good Lord.
That's a different podcast.
That's a totally different podcast. Actually, if you want to listen to a good podcast about that, is the Dorksman actually interviewed Damien talking about NFTs. So check them out because that was actually a really good. That got me a little more interested into NFTs, but yeah, not really. It's kind of. It's still. I need something tangible. I'm a tangible type of person.
Well, I think that kind of ties into Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
that ties into Star Wars where like people liked the newer films because it harkened back to the practical sets and stuff and the effects
Right.
rather than
Right.
just all green screen all the time or blue screen. I don't know why.
Well, and
I
I
forget
think
what he
that's-
used for this.
Right, and I think that's why people really kind of cling to Mandalorian, not just because of the story, but because everything felt very natural and it felt very
Right.
organic, rather
Sure.
than, you know, the prequels that were just. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about the prequels.
We
Right,
will.
so do we want to talk about kind of our favorite, like we've mentioned it kind of in our origin story, but do we want to talk about favorite characters and maybe like
Actually, that might be
least?
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Least favorite.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh
I'll go first this time. When I was a
oh.
kid,
Okay.
dude, Yoda was my everything. I loved Yoda.
Hmm.
I thought he was the coolest freaking character. He was funny. He just was everything that, like, I don't know. I loved him. Up until what was it? Not Last Jedi. What is it? Return of the Jedi. When he died in that, spoiler alert, hey, by the way, Yoda dies.
By the way, 30
Uh,
years
about
ago, 40, how
40
many
40
years
or
ago was it?
45 years ago.
Jeez Louise, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm old.
the prequel Yodas were a little silly, where he's bouncing off the walls doing flip kicks and on his skateboard and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was awful. Favorite character.
But
All right. What about
but yeah,
Lisa?
as a kid, that was me as a kid though. Now I gotta tell you, man, Mandalorian. I love Pedro Pascal. I love the Mandalorian helmet. I love the look. I love the feel. I'm all for Mandalorian.
Nice. All right.
That's my picks.
I'll go next. I think everyone knows that my favorite character is Luke, so I should probably pick a different other character other than
Oh,
Luke.
dude, you liked him when he was that whiny little. Okay.
I did.
never
I
mind.
liked him the whole time. No. It's because it was tied to my nostalgia. That's the only reason why. I'm sure if I watched it when I was an adult, he wouldn't be, most likely. But that's just kind of how it is.
Well, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm
I
trying to think
wanna
of something else that would be even a close second. Maybe Salacious B. Crumb. I don't know. Yeah, that would be my favorite.
Salacious.
He's laughing. He's like a little like me, and he laughs at everything and likes to be a troll. It's great.
He's the little troll, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That is, dude, fitting. Totally fitting.
Yep. All right. What about you, Trevor?
So, Prague, do you have a pick like Alex, where it's like a more recent pick, or do you just like stick with Luke? Like, you know how he likes Mandalorian. You obviously wouldn't say that 2 years ago.
Oh, a more recent character, you mean?
Yeah.
Let's see, probably Poe Dameron, but I didn't really like how they concluded his story arc. He kind of got pushed to the side, unfortunately, but he was like my favorite character of the new trilogy, I would
That's
say.
kind of what they did with a lot of the characters in the new
Yeah,
trilogy.
it's-
Like, they
it's
built up
unfortunate.
these characters just to kind of,
Not do anything with them at all.
yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, so I would have said Poe.
Okay, so for me, I echo Alex's statement of just Yoda. The Empire Strikes Back sequence where Yoda totally just messes with Luke.
Yes.
Oh, it's
I mean,
great.
Yes, dude.
That's just money. And then when
It's
he's in the
good.
backpack, it's just great stuff.
He's hitting R2.
Yeah, with the ping, 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 and it looks so
Why?
good. He's a Muppet, and it looks so good.
Oh, it's great.
But I think, like I mentioned, Rancor is probably my favorite. I'll always, like, if you know anything about me, I'm going to pick animals as my favorite characters. Like, my favorite Harry Potter character is
Yeah.
Hedwig. Rancor is probably my favorite Star Wars character. I'm starting to watch Avatar. Appa is definitely my favorite character. That's just how it works out.
It is.
But,
It's fine. I like it. I'm here for it.
More
Rancor,
recently,
anything is great. So
yeah.
I'm here for it.
So do you
But
guys
yeah.
have a? Okay, and let me just.
So recently,
Ren-
though, I just want to say
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Ahsoka is the best.
All right.
Oh, she is bad, man.
If
She is
you
bad.
watch like Clone Wars, like the first 2 seasons kind of introduce her as like super young Padawan, and then she kind of gets her footing in season 3 and 4. She's just an amazing character. Like there's so much about. She just like kind of embodies what it means to be a Jedi, just because we know, like we don't usually get that part of Jedis. We usually get oh, they're fully advanced and awesome. And then the closest we got was Anakin just crying and complaining for 3 movies. And so
Right.
to have Ahsoka kind of go with it and learn the process kind of during the same exact Clone Wars period, and then really it ties into kind of Luke's understanding of the Jedi and Last Jedi and how kind of they messed up everything. And Ahsoka sees that firsthand, and they literally do all of their problems against Ahsoka, like everything that they just don't understand anything, and she has to realize it full time. And you get to see her character play out. It also comes to the idea of you can only do so much in a movie. Ahsoka's had storytelling across 6 seasons that are like 22 episodes each.
Right. Yeah, it definitely helps with character development for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Well,
say,
and
but
she was very she would butt heads with Anakin a lot, at least in the first season that
Mhm.
I saw, because I think I stopped after the first season, but but I mean, does that continue throughout the entire series, where she
Well-
sits there and just like she almost kind of like she doesn't quite listen to him completely all the time. It's almost like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna still do my own thing.
Right, because as they go, kind of, that's how Anakin is with Obi-Wan. So Ahsoka doing it to Anakin is just a fun juxtaposition that he has to now realize how annoying he's been to Obi-Wan this whole time. So they have
It's
to
like,
keep
that
that
was
thread
that-
going.
Okay.
right.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's like, but I don't wanna, you know?
Like
That-
it's because when you're learning the powers of the Force, you want to be able to do all the cool stuff immediately. You don't want to learn the basics
course.
and set a stone, the
I
foundation.
want to
for
force
everything.
push somebody now. Gosh.
That's
It's like,
kind
come
of
on.
how the world is now. Yeah. What is it?
Mhm.
Instant gratification.
Instant
Yes.
gratification, man.
Imagine
Yeah.
if you had abilities to use the Force. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
You want to
Yeah, I
use
would
them
wanna
now.
use everything
Yeah,
now.
it's true.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to take years to meditate and learn this stuff. No, give it to me now. But I was thinking while you were saying new characters, I had forgotten that they are considering the Fallen Order as canon, the video game, because I believe Cal Kestis is going to be in future episodes of, like, I don't know, Mandalorian or some other show on Disney Plus. So I'm actually going to pick him as my favorite new character.
Isn't he
I really
from
like his
Shameless?
as well. Yeah, he's the same actor from Shameless. He does a great job
Okay.
on that. He does a great job here. I think his character arc and development is fantastic. I don't want to spoil too much from the game if you haven't played it, but he does have the ability to listen to Force echoes, which I think is fantastic. And I think that could be developed even further later on. Like, hey, I can learn from the Jedi's past mistakes, by listening to different Force echoes. Like, hey,
And
Force, what did we do? What did we do wrong?
aren't they re-releasing it with like a remastered version for the PS5?
Oh, I don't know if they are.
Like all,
Definitely.
yeah, and the Xbox One X, yeah.
Nice.
Or
I
what's it
like
called?
how
Yeah.
Jedis, through the years, they just learn more and more little tricks here and there.
Yeah,
Gotta make these guys stay relevant and cool.
pretty much. It's like, we can't have him do the same thing as everybody else. Here, use this Force thing.
Yeah,
So,
hey,
I like
you got
his
this
ability.
echo thing now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took cues from Harry Potter, where all witches and wizards have different kind of like, when Star Wars came out, it was like we're doing something different, and then 40 years pass, more stories come along that are like, let's take little tidbits of those stories and include it in our universe, because again, we're based on a flimsy storyline at best for the original Star Wars movie that's been told since Greek times, so we can do whatever we want.
Pretty much.
That's pretty true, yeah.
And I'm here for it. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want with the Force. That's fun. That's what's fun about it. Have fun
Right.
with it. Don't tell me about trade
It can be
commissions and
anything.
disputes. Yeah. Don't give me that. But you want to give me Force stuff and lasers and stuff? Yeah. Do that, please. It's more interesting. More interesting. Coming from a fanboy who, I guess hates some things and loves other things.
Selectively watches things and analyzes them based on their quality.
Well-
fanboying.
Speaking of hating things,
Uh-oh.
what is your least favorite? And I want to put in parentheses here, we can't all choose Jar Jar Binks here.
Okay.
We've got to actually
wish.
come up with characters that are
Okay.
not Jar Jar Binks.
I'll start. That's an easy one.
All right.
My least favorite character and the worst part of Star Wars is Qui-Gon Jinn, because he emphasizes the problem with the prequels. Liam Neeson is a good actor, but George Lucas gave direction to be a plank of wood, and so he's terrible in the film. Qui-Gon Jinn is the one who brings Jar Jar Binks along. There's no relevancy for Jar Jar
True.
Binks in the universe without Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon makes the stupid decision to bring Anakin along and goes against the Jedi Council, and his only reason is that he has a gut instinct that no one else has, even though Yoda specifically tells him he's going to turn to the dark side because the dude can't handle his emotions. Qui-Gon's like, nah, it's good. And then Qui-Gon also is the one who's the first person to mention midichlorians, which is the stupidest part of the prequels. Qui-Gon's the character who has to explain that the Force is literally stupid particles and that never needed to exist. So Qui-Gon is the epitome of all problems by himself. It's pretty impressive.
I don't know
Wow.
if we need to go.
Wow.
Dog.
No, I don't have anything out there. That's it. You've
I
convinced
can't
me.
follow that.
Wow.
Actually,
And then
Brock,
he also lamely dies to Darth Maul, even though we have the stupid sequence where he just lets himself get cut in half so Obi-Wan is inspired by him, just like Obi-Wan inspires to Luke. And then Qui-Gon, the only thing that he learns from that sequence is that Anakin, don't try it, I have the high ground, even though he has the low ground on Darth Maul, who just killed Qui-Gon, and he somehow backflips over him to slice him in half. So that's also stupid from Qui-Gon. So many
boy.
stupid
Nice.
sequences.
Jeez.
All tied to Qui-Gon.
Okay. Hmm. See,
Frog,
as a kid,
you gotta
I
go
didn't
next.
really have like a hated character as a kid. I think maybe as I got older, I found flaws in characters, especially with the newer films. But I would say that growing up, I didn't really understand the love of Boba Fett other than his design. Like, yeah, he has a cool suit, but like I never cared for him at all. I never even thought about him, to be honest, until like the internet came on and everyone's like, Boba Fett's the best character of all time. I'm like, oh, when did this happen? Like, I had
It
no
doesn't
idea.
do
He
anything.
does. He literally gets killed so easy. Like, come on, dude, what a chump. Anyways, they redeemed him a bit, I guess, in the Mandalorian. He's fine now, I guess. We'll see. So that would be probably my least favorite from the original trilogy. Moving forward, I would have to say probably Padme. I thought that Natalie Portman did not do a great job acting in this trilogy. So, who's your least favorite character, Alex?
Oh wow! So Padme was yours. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, so my my least favorite character from start to finish, from beginning to all the way to the end, has been C-3PO. I know that some people just love this character. There is nothing about this character that I like except for his gold shining. That's about it. He shines gold. That's it. Everything else. I hate how he walks. He shuffles his feet like he's
Well,
doing the
he's a
stingray
robot.
shuffle out of water. Stop doing the stingray shuffle out of water. Lift your knees, bro. No, that
He doesn't
but
do
no, I
squats.
never liked the character. I thought he was just a whiny, like he was constantly complaining. Like this character complained so much throughout the entire series from start to finish, and I couldn't stand the complaining all the time. That he just bothered me. I just couldn't deal with it.
And the
not
best
a
part is
C-3PO.
he's in every movie. He's in all 9.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's the best part of it.
Best part. Yeah, no, he a lot of people do not care for that character. I think even the reviews from the first Star Wars film said that he was the same thing, whiny and kind of annoying.
He gets worse every movie too, like because they double down on his like stereotypes, and they make him even more one note as you go to just be
Right.
the wet blanket of the universe.
Right, and it's awful. I mean, Spaceballs did it better with having Joan Rivers as that character. At least she's
Not in here,
funny.
mister. This is a Mercedes.
Yeah, so C-3PO is got to be, for me, the worst part of Star Wars.
I like
Now,
C-3PO.
I know that he plays such a big role in Star Wars. Like, I know that he moves the story forward and he helps with things, but
I'm gonna
there's too
tweet
many
the
scenes where I'm
next
like, I get so
episode.
frustrated at that character.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, that's a good choice. That's a hot take. I like that one.
Oh, all right. I didn't realize I was coming in with hot takes tonight.
You never know. It's Star Wars. You never know what could happen. Bound to tick somebody off talking Star Wars these days. My goodness. How
Well,
dare you have an opinion contrary to anybody else's?
That's the point. Hey, that's how I felt with the whole Marvel thing. So,
Yeah.
good Lord. Anywhoosins, let's continue on. So those were our favorite characters and least favorite characters. Do you guys have like a favorite scene out of the entire series? Like, is there a scene that sticks out to you that like is so iconic that you're like, yes, this is what I came here for?
Well, I know what Trevor's is, but I don't know what Alex's is.
I have two that stand out in my head.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah,
What are
they're
they?
both from the original. So they're both from the original series.
Okay.
One is the Hoth scene from Empire Strikes Back. That Hoth scene is just so much fun, and that's the first time you get to see the scale of
So
the
you mean the
mechs
battle at
that
Hoth,
they-
not
yes,
just
the battle of
because
Hoth.
it's
Yes.
a long scene. So
Right, the battle of. Oh yeah. Because then Luke goes out. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Anyway,
all that
so
stuff.
but the battle, I mean, that's the first time you see an AT-AT. And it's like that thing is, I mean, it's a skyscraper walking towards you, firing missiles at you. It looks amazing. And as a little
It is
kid,
amazing.
when you're seeing it for the first time, it's absolutely mind-blowing. So that would probably be like one of my favorites. The other one is the final battle with Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, where, like you said, dude, where Luke's wearing all black with the green saber, and he's coming in like a badass, dude. He's like,
mad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to win no matter what. I loved it. I actually like, I can get
Great
goosebumps off that one. Those are my two.
Alright. Good choices. Yeah, I like the AT-AT is great because it goes back to that story I believe I've told on this podcast before, where I actually bought an AT-AT at a garage sale. Some kid down the street was selling like all of his Star Wars toys, and I thought it was great. It like still lit up and everything, and I can fit my figures inside. And when we moved, my dad threw it away because he thought I didn't want it anymore. What?
Oh, that's awful.
It's like, what? What? What do you mean I don't play with it? Like I stand it up. It's awesome, even if I just look at it.
Well, have you
So,
guys
yeah.
seen the video on YouTube of the guy who did a full like he had one of those AT-AT toys, and it's like stop motion, but it's like a little dog, so he's taking it out on
Yes,
walks
yes.
and stuff
I
like
have
that.
seen
Oh,
that.
it's so
It's cute.
fantastic.
It's
It's
a fun
so
video.
cute.
It,
Yeah.
like peas on things. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I guess for me, I mean, I've thought a lot about this question, not just for the podcast, but in my life, because that's what I do. I think about Star Wars a lot. Probably my favorite is because Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie. It would have to be a tie between the first time they get on the speeder bikes, because that's my favorite part of anything in Star Wars. Or the first time, but if I had to really pick one, if someone put a gun to my head, it would be the scene where Luke is talking to his father on the bridge before he gets taken in to the Emperor. It's a quiet scene. It's a scene that probably no one ever even thinks about much, but like I think about that scene all the time. Like it's getting me emotional right now. It's the way that it's shot, the way that it's lit. He's just standing. It's just them. There's no one else. There's no guards to help, Darth Vader out. He's just standing there in front of his father, like just this is it. This is my dad, and I'm gonna go in there at some point and probably have to take him down. I don't know. It was just a really cool scene.
And that's the sequence. Yeah, where Luke he somehow learned how he went to lightsaber school in between Empire Strikes Back and that sequence on the bridge.
Yeah.
He went and got a kyber crystal and he did the whole thing, and we just don't know how that was done.
It would have been nice for us to have seen that at some point. Maybe if Sebastian Stan came back and did like a limited series. Wink, wink. Disney Plus.
Because we do learn about lightsaber and making in Clone Wars. Ahsoka goes and gets the kyber crystal, and she has to go through this whole like ice cave tunnel thing and find herself, and it's all kinds of cool stuff.
Which you also get to do in a certain other video game I may have mentioned in this episode. So,
well,
anyway.
didn't Luke find himself when he was on?
No, not finding himself. It's more about building a lightsaber.
Yeah, it's the whole thing about like building your lightsaber training and everything. Yeah. Anyway,
I would just go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and I would just build it there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Son
what
Batu.
wasn't he thinking?
Yeah.
What is wrong with these people?
on,
Come
dude.
on. I thought you were
Anyways, that
Jedi.
is my favorite scene.
So,
Excellent.
like, I did mention the rancor scene, but also right up there is the being in the trash compactor, where they literally, where C-3PO is like, "Oh, R2, they're dying," and it's because they're
Okay.
celebrating. Because I mean, I
It's a
love
good-
the
it's a
trash
good
compactor sequence.
Come on.
That's a good C-3PO
Alex.
sequence.
Yes.
But before he's saying that
3PO.
they're dying, he's sitting there with the comm, and he's just, I don't know, he was annoying that whole time. Because he's sitting there arguing with R2. It's like,
Yes.
stop arguing, just let R2 do his thing. Like,
But then you have the humor of that scene.
Yeah,
but
that whole
I will,
sequence.
yeah, what you just said, where he's like, R2, they're dying. Yes, okay, that is a very, very funny scene.
Yeah, that whole sequence of them actually wearing the stormtrooper outfits, and then they go in and they shoot the guys. Han talks to Star Wars Command or Stormtrooper Command, and he's like, everything's fine, and then he just shoots out the thing when he doesn't like his answer, and then they save Leia, and Leia has the little snide remarks throughout being saved by people.
It's a
It's
great
just really
sequence,
great stuff.
though.
Yes.
It really is. And especially, like, I remember even when I was younger watching that scene a second or third time, I was like, I was still, like, it was an intense scene. I'm like, I know they get out, but I'm still, like, on the edge of my seat. Like, how is this going to happen? It's really well done.
Yeah.
And
I
shout out
love
to
that
Dianoga.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Dianoga is the thing that drags Luke underneath, and that's the one where in actual filming, Mark Hamill popped like a blood vessel because he had to be held underwater to film it for so long.
Oh my god.
Crazy, huh?
Wow, that's wild.
Shout
But
out
what
to
I was
Mark
saying
Hamill.
a second ago is I love when movies have that, like, that tenseness to where no matter what they're going to get out of the scene, but at the same time there's always almost like this little sliver of a chance that it doesn't happen and they do get crushed, or or the DeLorean doesn't get the lightning, or you know what I mean, like you get that little sliver of, oh my god, this could be the one time I watch it and it doesn't happen.
You're right. It's like, oh no, it's going to happen this time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I love that tenseness. Yeah, that's so cool that like movies can still bring that to you even after the 40 years that it's been out.
And then we did mention the original trilogy a lot. I do just want to also give a shout out to Clone Wars. They go to, at season 4, episodes 7 through 10, they literally go to Umbara, and there's a new person. So Anakin leads the 501st, and then he has to go do something else. And so they have another general come in, another Jedi, and it comes into the whole idea of clones being individuals, or are they just pretty much like the droids, or are they just cannon fodder like that? And it's from the clones' perspectives of how they kind of identify self. And there's a lot of individualism for all the different clones, because then it comes into the idea of nurture versus nature and how they become different individuals because they were, trained in different sequences, or they went and fought in this sequence, or it just all kind of personality ideas.
Nice.
That's
That's
probably the
pretty-
best sequence of Clone Wars.
Well
Now,
said.
and the clones are all clones of Boba Fett's dad, right?
Jango
Yes.
Fett.
Jango.
Jango Fett. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I was still tracking with all that, because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very confusing if you don't really pay attention to those movies.
Yeah. True.
I
And
just
then
I don't
feel like
blame you.
one-
I mean,
little
Kinda
goofy
boring.
ass robots just bothered me. I don't know.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Which they
But,
still like to bring around for new stuff too. I don't know why.
Yeah, they do.
They're comedy,
They're
I guess.
kind of comic relief, yeah. The Roger thing.
Yeah,
Roger,
they're
Roger.
like slapstick Three Stooges type of thing.
Yes.
very much so.
And then one sequence from the sequel trilogy is the throne room fight scene with Snoke, and shot by Rian Johnson. It's amazing cinematography where everything's red. There's the flames on the banners in the background, and they're fighting the Praetorian guards, and Ben and Rey actually fight together because Ben has an ulterior motive to work with her, but they still actually work together. And it's, for me, it's the best lightsaber sequence in Star Wars.
I would have to agree with you. That's one of the few scenes like I will watch, like I will seek out and watch it just to watch that scene, like
Mhm.
outside of the movie. Like it's
So-
that good.
I
really
did that.
fun.
So when I first signed up for Disney Plus and I had a 4K TV, I watched like 3 things. I went to the sequence from Endgame with all the everybody coming in, and then I went to that lightsaber sequence, and then I went to Lion King. I just can't wait to be king. Those are the 3 sequences I
Nice.
watched.
Oh, 3 great choices. What can I say?
Ooh, very broad choices. So that throne room scene, there's actually there's a video on Corridor Digital on YouTube where they have stunt actors react, and they completely bash that scene because
know.
as a stunt actor, he was like, don't look at what's in front of you. Look at the background. Look at all the guys in the background. They're practically just all sitting there dancing in the background in poses because they're only fighting one character at a time. So all these other guys are in the background making it look like there's a lot happening. And I'm like,
Magic, baby.
yeah, it's movie
It's how
magic.
it's
Who
shot.
cares?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
no,
how it's
it-
shot,
it-
not how
it's-
the stunt people do their stunts.
Right. It's the
Well-
frame of everything.
Right.
Because they could have done a Falcon and the Winter Soldier and zoomed in on Rey fighting one particular guard. And quick cut, oh, here's close up
Right.
of Ben's face, and then oh, here's a close up of Rey's face, and we could have, oh, look, there's action going on. But they did a wide shot and they showed the whole thing. So that's what's going to happen when you decide to do wide shots.
And I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, and that, yeah, it's absolutely going to happen. I mean, what are those stunt actors going to do? It's not like they can attack at that point anyway, so they might as well do some really cool posing and flips in the background.
Yeah, I mean, there's a gif where Rey drops the lightsaber from one hand to the other, and there's like, oh, there's no way she could do this. It would stab her. And then Ben does this. Oh, look at shouldn't Ben this way? It's like, seriously, are you zooming in on a big wide frame scene and watching it in slow motion, or are you watching the whole scene? It's not like they're just waving. Oh, but what about Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar where they're just doing a glow rave or something? Yeah, that's so much better.
Right? Yeah, those
A
people could
glow
shut
rave.
up. Anyways. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyways, still had to give a shout out to one sequence from the sequel trilogy.
No, good. That was a good call out. That was a good scene. For
So
sure.
those were our favorite scenes. Do we have well, God. I
You
was
could be here
gonna
all
say
night if you want to say least favorite.
least favorite scene. Yeah, there's a lot. But
What is the prequel trilogy?
is there anything that bothers you about Star Wars?
That's a good question.
Like, cause I mean, yeah,
I don't
we
know if
can
it
talk all day
bothers
about
me.
how-
It's
Go
kind of like I think at one point it kind of did, but at this point it kind of just all washes over me. Like I just love Star Wars too much. Like even if there is something bad or wrong with it, it's like so what? I still have the original. I still have some things from the new trilogy I like a lot. There's still characters, video games, whatever. It's not the end of the world for me like it is for some people that like a movie comes out that's awful or they don't like or they don't agree with. It's like, oh my God, they're ruining Star Wars. Like no one can ruin Star Wars. It's literally unruinable. So
Yep.
stop. Is such a dumb argument. That's just me personally. Are there
It's
things that
too
bother me?
big.
Sure. Like Padme.
Yeah.
Sure. Things bother me, but whatever.
Right.
It is what
It's good to be critical of the things that you like.
right. Exactly. Just be critical. You don't have to like say it ruins everything either.
Right. It's not gonna
Have
ruin
balance.
everything.
Have some
That's-
balance.
It's just adding more stakes to your opinions. That's what it is. Like Falcon and the Winter Soldier didn't ruin the MCU. I know exactly what they're doing. I like Sam Wilson as Captain America. We didn't need 6 episodes to get to a very obvious conclusion. He looks great in his new suit. It took forever to get there, and they wasted a lot of time. This
Right.
new sequel trilogy is not the best thing they've done, but for people to say it's horrible and it's unwatchable, or like even the prequels, I can criticize them all I want. Attack of the Clones is tough to get through, but there's still Star Wars, and I can watch them.
Sure. Right. You can still put it on and be like, okay, this is Star Wars. I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At some level.
I can
Yes.
get behind that.
There you go.
I would say for me, if there is something that's really like that bugs me at all, it's I can think of 2 things again. One would be the interaction between the prequel droids where they are very slapstick and like they're bonking each other over the head and their heads are spinning
That's silly.
around and then they're and then they make jokes to each other. It's a little silly to me. It's almost like they were going too far with that. But I mean, that's we don't need to get into that too much. The other one that I'm thinking of is Princess Leia being exploded into space, but still.
Leia Poppins is the worst.
Leia Poppins.
I absolutely, my eyes rolled so hard into the back of my head when I saw that I was like, I don't know if I can bring them back. My eyes are now stuck back here.
How do you
see the timing of that sequence and her passing? I think the story was going to be different if she didn't pass away.
They should have cut it differently, maybe like show it blow up, but then like cut to her in bed, like, oh wow, she did survive that somehow, or whatever.
Oh, then that would be a Falcon and Winter Soldier surviving a giant container explosion.
What would you rather have? Huh? I'm giving you
an honorable death.
She was going to be set up in episode 9.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. They can't do that. I'm just saying. I gave you an option.
Okay.
You didn't take it, so
okay.
you get Leia Poppins. You like it.
It just doesn't do it for me. Trevor, I believe it's your turn.
About what?
Worse? Like what you don't like about Star Wars?
What bothers you with Star Wars?
Aspects.
Oh, I mean, I've mentioned them offhand continuously, and I had one very specifically until you started saying something. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty terrible. And now I don't remember what I was going to say.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
Okay, here's another question for you guys then. Other than the nine films, is there any outside Star Wars that you would recommend to people that you would say this is a must-watch?
I know what Trevor would say because he talks.
I have a feeling I know what he would say too. But
I would. What would I say? Well, I would say
I do want to just say, you don't have to watch all of Clone Wars. It's a lot when you can be like, there's 6 seasons and 22 episodes each. But literally, if you just go, it's not a continuous story. It's not like, I have to watch episode 1 through 196.
Which was confusing for a lot of people when it came out.
You can jump in and be like, I'm going to watch season 3, 17, 18, and 19. And then I'm going to go watch season 5, episodes 7, 8, and 9. They are full stories that don't matter of anything because they're still based in the Clone Wars period. You know when that is. You know about Anakin and Obi-Wan. You know that it's before Anakin falls to the dark side, all that kind of good stuff. So be really selective, and you can really enjoy Clone Wars, and it doesn't have to be a big time commitment.
I will say,
because it can be intimidating.
Don't just jump straight into the Clone Wars, the cartoon movie, because I started that and I was like, what's happening? Why is Yoda on this ship going to this place and all of a sudden this is happening and everybody's talking as if there was something that happened beforehand? And I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be a movie. I didn't realize that I had to watch something before watching the Clone Wars cartoon movie.
No, I know. They messed up the launch of it.
Okay.
They did.
And so the sequences of it can discourage people. That's why I try not to get intimidated by it. Because, again, you don't have to watch everything, but some of the best storytelling in Star Wars is in Clone Wars. So, Alex, to your point of worst sequences, I think just the idea of Anakin himself by Hayden Christensen. Hayden Christensen did what he could work with. I don't know why people hate on him. It's George Lucas. George Lucas totally messed it up, and he told Hayden Christensen to do this. And with that, Anakin is terrible in the prequels. And it ruined Darth Vader for me. Because if you just watch the original trilogy, Darth Vader is one of the best villains in movie history. But after you watch the prequels, I lose any kind of interest or respect in what... Anakin is just a tragic character. He could be Phantom of the Opera or Elephant Man in terms of just, terrible fate. But when you watch Clone Wars, he's such a good Anakin. You actually care. You actually feel the pain that he would have to go through to want to save the person he loves, fail at it, and essentially be remiss with your terrible decision until your son comes along however many years later. And you actually care about his fall to the dark side. And that's my most hated aspect, is that they ruined Darth Vader. that's because Darth Vader's so amazing. Like, I don't even like having Darth Vader collectible figures anymore. Like, because he's just a joke to me because I'm so aware of what Hayden Christensen did as Anakin Skywalker.
Wow.
No,
That
he's,
was
he's
some
pretty on point
heavy
with that.
stuff.
It really ruined it for me too. Sad to say.
Man.
Yeah,
I
so
really
that's why I
enjoy
love
Darth.
Clone Wars. Like, whenever I mention Clone Wars, it's because they did such a good job with Anakin.
Nice.
Anakin
All
is
right.
he's a charismatic character. You really like Anakin Skywalker. That's what they needed to do. You have to like Anakin for
Yeah,
Darth
you
Vader
have to like
matter.
him to feel bad for him. You have to.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
Yep.
So.
Because
Wow.
Anakin's awesome. He's one of the best Jedis around. That's why it means so much. He's not like some, oh, I can't do anything, or by the time in the movies we see him at his full potential, he's already hates everything.
Right. So
Yeah.
why
He
need
has
kid?
to really be awesome, where everyone looks up to him. Like, oh, everyone's like, oh man, look how awesome Anakin Skywalker is. He's really going to be the one who changes the tide. He's going to turn. He's everything to get rid of the Sith. He's our savior.
Gnarly.
There you go.
I don't know if there's much to comment on that. That's
Right.
really, it's amazing stuff what you just said. And honestly, I'd really like to hear what our listeners think of what you just said, because I do feel like I mean, would you say that there could be some controversy with what you just said?
I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
Mm,
That
no?
I've heard that from a lot of people actually
Oh, okay.
that have watched the show. That it redeems. I mean, I don't think there's anyone out there that liked Anakin in the prequels. Like, not even people that like the prequels like him in the prequels.
Gotcha.
So
Well, and
Yeah,
and
that would make
what I've
sense.
heard that Hayden Christensen is coming back for.
I know. I'm hoping he has a. So, do we want to talk about what's coming next for Star Wars?
yeah, let's do that. That'd be fun. Real
Okay.
quick before we wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
a
a big,
lot.
huge slate of stuff. Yeah. Disney is like, I think we figured it out. Rather than doing these big tentpole movies, we're going to do a bunch of Disney Plus shows. Mandalorian did
Right.
really well. And really, WandaVision and Falcon Winter Soldier have hit really big audiences too. So Disney knows what they're going to do going forward. And there's a lot of stuff coming from Disney. One, like you mentioned, is Hayden Christensen's coming back for the Obi-Wan show. This is going to be like a limited run, 6 episodes. It's Ewan McGregor's back. We finally get that of what he was doing in between the end of Revenge of the Sith and the start of A New Hope, and what he was doing on Tatooine. Does he go off planet? Is he constantly just looking over baby Luke? What is he actually doing? And so maybe they redeem Hayden Christensen a little bit in live action.
Yeah, I mean, when this was first announced, I was kind of like, it's cool that we get Obi-Wan again, because I really do like, I do like him as Obi-Wan. But I'm like, I don't know what the heck is going to happen. Like, it doesn't sound interesting to me. But then they started mentioning all these different characters and ideas they were going to do for the show, and I do think it could be interesting now. If we do redeem that, Hayden Christensen's version of Anakin, yeah, I think this could be a lot of fun.
And who knows? Maybe they'll just have a bunch of like baby Luke sightings throughout the show
Could,
too.
yeah.
Because
They might have
hey,
some-
baby Yoda
Look
made a
out.
splash. Might as well put baby Luke in the show.
Why not? Look out for casting calls, actually. That's actually a good point. Any towheads in the casting calls for Disney Studios in the next few months, take note.
Alrighty then.
There you go.
So outside of Obi-Wan, what else is coming out?
Well, so on May the 4th, this year of 2021, literally when this podcast drops, we have The Bad Batch. And so this is a connection for the last season of Clone Wars. And that's a 4-episode run. If you wanted to just watch those 4 episodes before Bad Batch, it makes sense. The Bad Batch, I'm not sold on. That sequence of the new final season of Clone Wars wasn't the best. Like, that season is best once we get to the end with Ahsoka and Darth Maul and all that kind of good stuff. It's more the idea of different clones, and these are specific. Like, there's one like heavy grunt clone, there's one like a sniper clone, there's one who's like a stealth assassin clone, and so they all have their kind of thing, and they're going to go on various missions. I'm discouraged just because the first episode is 70 minutes. I'm like, whoa.
Oh yeah,
So
I saw that.
that's launched on May 4th for 70 minutes. Even me, big Clone Wars fan, I don't know.
Well, I couldn't get through 15 minutes of animation. I don't know if I can do this. We'll see.
I'm not much of an animation fan, and that's probably why I couldn't get through a whole lot of Clone Wars just because it was
Yeah, no, I see
animated.
that.
And the problem is, and we talk about this a lot with like superhero stuff, is you almost lose the sight of stakes when it comes to animation, at least for myself. Like, it's animated, so you could cut the guy's arm off and hey, it'll animate right back on the next scene, type of thing. I don't know. Just I'm sure they wouldn't go that far, but you know what I mean.
Sure. All right. So what else is coming out?
So after that, we have the Book of Boba Fett, which was teased after Mandalorian Season 2. And so this is going to come at the end of 2021. And to Prog's point, they're going all in on redeeming Boba Fett to give him his own series. And so this is where he took over kind of Jabba's crime syndicate. So he at the end of Mandalorian, he kills Bib Fortuna. And so now took over for dead Jabba from Return of the Jedi. And so now he's going to come in and he's sitting on the throne and he has, I don't know her name on the show.
Robot
assassin. Yeah. But she's his little sidekick right there. And so we'll see, is he gonna go out on missions and stuff, or is he gonna sit on his throne chair and order people around?
Right, if he's gonna be the new Hutt.
Yeah.
For some reason I heard you saying, is he gonna sit on his throne and order pizza? He's already got the gut for it. He might as well just go all in.
That's what happens when you sit on this throne.
Everybody just gets fat. Dude, so I'm wondering if this show is gonna be like almost like, well, it's supposed to be Book of Boba Fett, so it's probably gonna tell the stories of when he got out of the big monster pit, Sarlacc pit, and hopefully show some pretty cool stuff from there. But everything from the Sarlacc pit on, he's got no sweet armor that we all love.
Yeah, he's like scavenging for stuff.
I don't know if I'm gonna care to watch this monk guy run around the desert.
I mean, that might be episode 1. I think they're gonna emphasize after that. Kind of him being a crime syndicate, because that always has such promising idea in the Star Wars universe. Is we always see the high class Jedi stuff, but there's a really dark outer rim of stuff that's going on that has nothing to do with the Force, and I hope they dive into that.
I want to see the scum and villainy. I want to see that, and that'd be fun. Because I mean, I love that. I love the Hutts, and I love that stuff in Return of the Jedi. So it'd be great to have more stuff in that world.
Well, and they kind of touched a bit on it with Mandalorian, which was really fun.
Yeah,
you know, seeing some of this different places that we don't need to rehash all these areas like Tatooine. We don't need to go back to places like that.
Well, we're gonna be on Tatooine.
No, I get that, but you know what I mean. Like,
right, I know.
Like, I don't need to go to the same one bar that everybody goes to every time we're in Star Wars.
But everyone knows my name there. Where else am I going to go? Someplace where they don't know my name?
Boba!
Exactly. Anyways, what else? Anything else? We have like 20 more shows or something?
Since you mentioned that, Mandalorian Season 3 is coming, and this is a really, really, really interesting point for Mandalorian. It's built up a lot of popularity. It's really the biggest thing in Star Wars right now, and it's because of one little green guy who's no longer going to be on the show. And so what show do we have now? Because it's called Mandalorian. The show isn't called Baby Yoda. It's not called Grogu. It's called Mandalorian. And so are we going to get into actual Mandalorian lore? And are we going to get Sabine on the show, who's actually a Mandalorian? The Mandalorian himself has the new Darksaber, which technically gives you right to rule Mandalore. Are we going to go to the planet? Are we really going to get into Mandalorian stuff?
I hope so.
And do people care?
That's my concern. I don't know, because you can't shake his moneymaker anymore. He sent that off to train with Luke.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. If they do it well enough, it could be. Put out a good sizzle reel trailer or something.
Well, keep in mind, like, the people who got into that show were people like me I'm not like the biggest Star Wars fan, but like Mandalorian was cool, and it wasn't just because of Grogu. I thought Grogu was great. Yeah, he was great to look at and fun because he was adorable as all hell, but I mean, when you're looking at Mandalorian, this dude's a gunslinger. It's like watching a modern age Western, and I love Westerns. I can imagine that other people do too, and that's why there was such high ratings on it. I can't imagine it was just Grogu that brought people in.
Say 70 million people watch Mandalorian, and say 35 million people were Star Wars fans to begin with. And then that leaves you with 35 million. Do you think that maybe 20 million of those people like Westerns? Or do you think they are watching it because they love Baby Yoda and there's going to be memes and he's cute and I'm going to get the merchandise? That's like, if you lose 20 million people or something, that's a big deal.
Well, but they've got all this other stuff leading up to that they're most likely going to try and intertwine into this. So there might be another little sidekick that pops up somewhere.
But I'm talking about for general audience person.
That's what I'm thinking too. And I think there's going to be a drop off for sure.
Oh,
I mean, even if you were to compare WandaVision to Falcon and Winter Soldier, like WandaVision did so well because it was different and it was very memeable. Like the internet blew up with like the Agatha All Along and all the different gifs that were created because of it, and like none of that happened with Falcon and Winter Soldier. So if you look at like the numbers of how many people watched it and talked about it online, it like dropped significantly. It was like dropped off a cliff. Like nobody talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
yeah, that's what I'm
afraid
we did. Go back and listen to our episodes, people.
That might happen with season 3. I think that the diehard fans that love Star Wars and are interested in the story will continue. They'll still do well. It just won't do the astronomical large.
It won't have the tail on social media. Like, it might be a better season. It might be a really outstanding show. They do outstanding storytelling of Mandalore and all that stuff, but if there's not eyeballs on it, it's kind of like if a tree falls in a forest. This is the best season of Mandalorian yet that no one's watching. It's
yeah, unfortunately.
Oh well.
Anyways.
Yeah, but speaking of Mandalorian creating all these splintering stuff, Ahsoka is actually getting her own show. Like, so she showed up in episode 13 of Mandalorian, and now Rosario Dawson is gonna. So this is really interesting because there's some fans who hate Rosario Dawson because there's the whole transgender connection. That's fine. I'm not speaking to that. Some people also hate Ahsoka is taking on Ezra's journey and Sabine's journey. So Sabine's goal is to go find Ezra. That's her kind of mission, right? And Ahsoka is there kind of in the background. But now it seems like, based on the live action Ahsoka, this has been her solo mission. She doesn't know any Sabine, and she's been focused on Ezra this entire time. And so the Mandalorian's like, oh, we can tie into Ezra, or we can tie into Sabine, and then Thrawn is a big bad guy who might actually still be out there, and Ahsoka's mission is to hunt him down. It's really interesting that Disney, and specifically Dave Filoni's going this route, since he set up this storyline, and now they're making it's an Ahsoka's journey thing.
Yeah, I think that is weird. I do think what they're trying to do is make, hopefully this is what they're doing, is making Thrawn the Thanos of all these series, like kind of combining all the series together so that he is the big bad that they're going to fight in some like the Thrawn trilogy or season or something. I don't know. That's my guess. I think that's what they're leading up to, is a Thrawn show at some point that's going to be like the end game for this story that all these different shows are trying to tell.
Well, they've seen what works. They might as well continue it on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my guess. I hope so. It'd be great to see Thrawn. I think he's a great looking character and an interesting character. So it'll be fun to see him, especially since he was old, the old extended universe, stuff that they apparently threw away, but now they're bringing some of that stuff back in, which is fun.
They're cherry picking out the stuff they think's most interesting.
Well, as long as they're keeping some of it. Yeah.
It seems if they're bringing back certain characters, I mean, the potential of bringing back some of the cooler characters, for instance, Darth Maul, he's got potential of coming back because he was in Clone Wars with
Right. Nobody's truly dead in Star Wars. Always remember that.
Exactly. We
how
learned
many
that.
times have we seen Darth Vader come back? Good Lord.
And so the next interesting one is Rangers of the New Republic. And so this was announced before Disney fired Gina Carano, and she's the one who literally is a Ranger. And so I think the idea was her to kind of tie that in. But now that she's extracted, I don't know what they're doing with this show.
Yeah, is it still happening?
It looks like it's still happening. They haven't said anything that it's not. Maybe they're just going with a different cast, because maybe she was just kind of the bridge, and they're just getting rid of the bridge.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I have no idea what this would even be about. So.
Well, this is kind of the antithesis to Book of Boba Fett. So say Boba Fett's doing kind of black market stuff. This would be kind of what is like police force on the other side of it.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, got it.
But maybe they get rid of it completely. The one that I'm not really interested in is Andor, from Rogue One, just because a lot of people like Rogue One, and the people who don't like the fact that everybody dies in the movie. That's why they don't like it, because there's no connection for anything outside of the movie itself. Because the movie itself is well made, but it doesn't mean anything in the greater concept. And so to focus a TV show on one of the characters before that happens, because obviously it can't be after. Like I did say that no one's truly dead in Star Wars. The planet he's on is blown up or whatever. He is dead.
He's dead. He died.
So
But
this
he
is
was on an
only free
escape
stuff.
pod.
And so this is just a story of him being a smuggler. So Alan Tudyk's probably going to be on it as K2SO, and it's just going to be his stories as being a smuggler. It's like a Han Solo show that's not Han Solo, even though the main intrigue is that he's Han Solo and Harrison Ford. But we're going to do a different character, and okay, I don't know.
I have less than no interest. I won't even check out the show, most likely, if I'm being honest. Sorry. Just not going to.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of stuff planned for Star Wars, so I'm going to just quick hit a few ones. This one's called The Acolyte, and it's by the person who made Russian Doll, and hopefully you've checked out Russian Doll on Netflix. It's really outstanding. Time is a circle of time loop kind of show. I love
stuff.
Whenever time is messed up. And so this is going to be set in the final days of the High Republic, and it's going to be a mystery thriller that will take us into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers. And so the High Republic era is kind of the hundreds of years before the prequels. So it was really like the golden times of the Jedi. And hopefully you played Knights of the High Republic, the video game, any of that kind of stuff, or Knights of the Old Republic, all that kind of good stuff. And so to emerging dark side powers and kind of intrigue in that during the time where Jedis were in full control is really interesting.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's like, hey, why do they get all to have fun? What
Yeah.
about us? What's this do? What does this do? Wait, you say I can bring people back from the dead? Why don't they do that? The heck? Why can't I get married? What are you talking about?
The
All those
Sith has
things.
very
All those
intriguing
choices.
selling points compared to the Jedi Order.
Mhm. It's very much like Satan. It's like,
Mephisto.
Or
yeah,
Mephisto.
Wonderful. Mephisto is
finally, we're
confirmed
gonna
as
get
the
Mephisto
villain.
in one of these shows.
He's going to show up in the Acolyte in the Star
Well,
Wars universe.
I'm telling you right now, that's how they cross over.
And then White Vision floats down for a second. Damn,
Sure, why
wrong
not?
series again.
I'll find it someday. One of these shows.
And so those are the Disney Plus shows, and then rapid fire through movies. So Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, is working on a movie called Rogue Squadron to focus on pilots. And honestly, we only ever focus on Luke, who's a Jedi, and a pilot. Like Poe, to Prague's point, never really gets his story developed. So have a whole movie on pilots and fighter pilots and their X-Wings is actually pretty interesting.
So it's Top Gun, just with.
It's Top Gun and Star Wars.
And I'm
I'm
fine
in.
with that. Yeah. Go
Okie
cool on
dokie.
that idea.
And then Taika Waititi's making an untitled Star Wars film. There's still the Rian Johnson trilogy is out there, and then Kevin Feige is supposedly working on a Star Wars film as well. So it's not just Disney Plus shows. I have no idea what's going on in the
Right.
film aspects.
They don't either, let me tell you.
They're just throwing every idea at the board and seeing what sticks.
Well,
Yeah, I
they
think
know
that's
they're
what they
going to
do.
make $1 billion off of it, so why not?
Yep.
Why not, indeed?
We're here for it.
Yep,
Well-
especially if you connect all these interconnected Disney Plus shows and then lead it into, oh, here's the new Taika movie that's or Kevin Feige's worked on a movie that sequences Thrawn into all these Mandalorian and Ahsoka things.
Oh my
Exactly.
God. I can't wrap my head around it all.
Star Wars. May the 4th be with you.
Star Wars.
Well,
This
cool.
is the
Before we sign off, I do
symbol.
want to mention that you guys, I hope that you guys are interested in stuff outside of Star Wars. Like, there's this
Yeah.
really cool short film called George Lucas in Love. It's a short movie on YouTube. It's kind of like it shows George Lucas and I mean, it's a short film. It's fun, but he sees things that kind of how he wrote the Star Wars movie through his time in Berkeley or whatever. And it's actually really fun. I say give it a try. There's also a podcast out there called Mission to Zix, where it's kind of a spoof of Star Wars, where I mean, they've got a clone that's kind of like the Stormtroopers, but he's a total idiot. And their Luke Skywalker, he's also kind of but it's all improv, which makes it so much more fun. They kind of have like a basic story, and then it's all improv from there, and it's hilarious. They're actually on their last season right now. I just started the first episode, and I love it. I hope you guys take a listen out there. Give them a listen, because I mean, it's kind of sad that they're going away. But anyways, yeah. So check that stuff out. I just wanted to throw a couple little tidbits out there.
Nice. Awesome. Good shout outs. And then again to everyone at Secondary Heroes everywhere. We're counting down to episode 100. It's coming up really quick. And we hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next time. May the 4th be with you.
Prague out.
Adios, y'all.